East Stony Creek.
More costs, more taxes, more debt, more on the national credit card, more of the same. This Prime Minister is just another costly Liberal with nothing to show for his waste. Gas prices surged 28.6% in April. Grocery prices are up 3.8% in April. Energy prices rose 19.2%. My community is being squeezed and they cannot pay more. Conservatives have a real plan to give Canadians relief from Liberal inflation by removing all federal fuel taxes for the year. On what day will they adopt it?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Sport.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Perhaps the member from Hamilton East Stony Creek should talk to the 10,600 plus people in his riding who have accessed dental care that he and his party voted against. Perhaps you should talk to the over 20,700 families that access the Canada Child Benefit and the benefits that this government has put on the table to fight for their affordability that he and his party consistently votes against. Mr. Speaker, whether it's childcare, whether it's a national school food program, whether it's improvements in recreation facilities, the Conservatives have voted against every single measure to improve the lives of Canadians, including those in Hamilton East Stony Creek.
The Honourable Member for Lethbridge.
Last week, the CRTC announced that it will be tripling the online streaming tax from 5% to 15%. And this tax will now drive up the cost that consumers pay for things like Netflix or Disney+. And just this weekend, Spotify announced that already it will take effect coming in July. They will be increasing their prices. For over 800 years, it has been parliamentary tradition that only Parliament imposes a tax. Only Parliament. Regulators like the CRTC do not have the authority to do that. So will this government speak to the CRTC and make it reverse course?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the member opposite. Let me be very clear. This is not a new tax. This is an imaginary tax, once again brought up in the House. Our government is relentlessly focused on the cost of living for Canadians. That's why we cut taxes for 22 million Canadians. This decision from the CRTC only ensures that existing rules are applied in a way that fosters fair competition. This is about protecting Canada's distinct culture and identity and ensuring the vitality of our cultural sector. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Lethbridge.
Mr. Speaker, a tax is a tax is a tax. You can call it whatever you want, but at the end of the day, Canadians pay more. That's a tax. And this tax will do much more than just cost Canadians. It will actually impact us in terms of our negotiations with regards to CUSMA. The Liberal government has already been accused of escalating this irritant, and they've already been signaled by the U.S. that this will, in fact, hinder us in terms of getting a deal that the Prime Minister promised to get for us months ago and has failed to deliver. So will this Liberal government cancel this costly tax, protect our trade relationship with the United States, protect Canadian jobs, protect trade, and get it done?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you again for the question. Again, what we are talking about here is imaginary taxes. Once again, the way that Canadians consume content over the last decade has changed entirely. People are streaming content. It's not only with broadcasters, and it's important that our regulatory regime reflect that change. Thank you very much.
The Honourable Member for Repentigny. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister's environmental betrayal is complete with the announcement of a new dirty oil pipeline as early as 2027, a pipeline that could contravene laws and endanger threatened species, a pipeline whose environmental impact will be assessed by the Energy Board in Calgary, an assessment. So the minister and they can change these assessments as they see fit. And this is a generational betrayal of the environment. Are there any Liberals who will refuse to be complicit in this? The Honourable Minister. Mr. Speaker, I'll paraphrase our Prime Minister who said, we live in the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. But what matters to us is that we all work together, all provinces, all of Canada, to improve our competitivity economically, but also we want to reach our climate and environmental goals. We haven't given up on carbon neutral by 2050. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm working very hard on the nature strategy, a strategy that is unanimously supported throughout the country. The honourable member for Repentigny. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to environmental betrayal, the Prime Minister has gone even further than Stephen Harper. And we're not actually the ones saying it. It's the Liberal MP for Laurier-Sainte-Marie, and he's not the only Liberal to think this way. 15 or so Liberals have written to the Prime Minister to express their unease about this oil-forward shift, and about 15 Liberals have reminded him that climate change remains the greatest threat of our time. Well, if it is the greatest threat of our time, what are they waiting for to stand up, speak up, and cross over the opposition? The Honourable Minister for Government Transformation. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm really proud, as my colleagues are, to be a part of a government that takes very seriously the protection of the environment and also the economy, which is fundamental to the future of our country. If you're talking about the environment and the fight against climate change, you have to think of the tax credit for clean energy. $90 billion. Nature will protect 30% of our land. The regulations that will reduce our methane regulations by 2030. That's actual, real, concrete action for nature. The honourable member for Charlebourg-Haute-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, after weeks of pressure from the Conservative Party, the Liberals seem to finally start to listen to reason by eliminating the excise tax on gasoline. But they continue with their so-called clean fuel standard, another disguised tax that already adds 7 cents per litre and could rise to 17 cents by 2030. Canadians need real relief now, not a half measure from the Liberals. Will the Prime Minister finally do away with the clean fuel standard to bring down the price at the pump? Yes or no? The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary. Mr. Speaker, we will continue to fight for affordability. We have already reduced by 10 cents the gas tax. That has an effect on Canadians. We need to keep going with all measures, not just one. It's important. And in fact, people are going to be receiving checks shortly, if not already, done for the groceries and essentials benefit. That's what it means to help Canadians. You need to work on several fronts at the same time, and that's precisely what we're doing. Aside from working to develop our economy, aside from protecting nature. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The honourable member for Charlebourg-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, governments around the world are helping their people because, you know, it costs a lot to fill up. Everyone's discussing this everywhere. We know that summer's coming, and it costs a fortune to fill up the tank of gas. Australia, Spain, Ireland have lowered their prices at the pump. You got to think the GST is applied. It's applied to so many things and directly on another tax. What can be done to eliminate the GST on gasoline and diesel? Let's follow the lead of other countries. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. If he's talking about helping Canadians, well, maybe he could start by voting for measures that actually help Canadians on a daily basis. The groceries and essentials benefit will help 12 million Canadians who will be receiving their first check in early June. That's a measure they're against. What about the dental care program? That helps at least 25,000 people in his riding in Charlebourg-Haute-Saint-Charles. That's a measure they're against again as well. How about a drop in taxes for 22 million Canadians? That's the first thing we did. Maybe they should walk the talk and support this government.
L'honorable député de Richemont-Arthabasca.
Merci, monsieur.
The honourable member for Richemont-Arthabasca. Mr. Speaker, the Liberals mean higher costs, higher taxes, higher spending, and more job losses. The Liberal Minister of Finance thinks they've done enough damage. Yeah. How can anyone govern like this? Look at the Liberals' new space launch platform. Just follow me here. A company leases land from the provincial government for $13,500 a year, and that company leases it to the Liberal government for $20 million a year, 10 years, $200 million on a children's credit card. My question's simple. If it were your money, would you do this deal?
Encore une fois.
Again, you have to go through the Speaker, the Honourable Minister for National Defence. Mr. Speaker, the space launch capacity, a sovereign capacity, would generate millions of dollars, create well-remunerated jobs, reinforce our sovereignty, reduce our dependency on the